Hey everyone, and welcome to the tutorial on how to add foliage to your terrain projects. Okay, so I've got some projects which I've done, and then I'm going to work on one with you to give you a step-by-step idea on how I do it. So here's some examples of adding some foliage to your pieces. Nice mixture of different colours, different sizes, as well as some other products which give a little bit of detail, like poison ivy, things like that. So the types of foliage I've got, this is all bush foliage by Javis, as well as some extra clusters by Woodland Scenics. Mixing the two colours to suit the static grass on your projects is recommended. There's no point having a really different colour in your static grass and then your foliage, it won't look right. So try to make the colours match and try to blend them correctly. I'm going to go ahead and use some Army Painter Poison Ivy just to put in some of the cracks in the stone work, as well as some of the nice detailed areas around the bottom of the walls. I've got some tweezers just so we can tease away some of the material, as well as some of the hot glue, and we don't want any excess hot glue left on a project. Got some PVA glue, scenic glue, and of course a hot glue gun. So let's go ahead and start. Now the thing to remember when doing terrain projects, preferably for wargaming, is you don't want a huge amount of foliage on your projects, because that will make your miniatures kind of pull it off, and over time it will just get in the way. You want places where you can still leave your miniatures on the piece of terrain. You don't want to, say, have a bit of foliage right in the middle of it where a model's going to stand. You want to try to place it in areas where a model's not likely to go but still looks realistic. For example, we've got lots of grass growing in here in the cracks, so I'm going to go ahead, put a large bit of hot glue there, be quite quick with this, and add a bit of foliage. Okay, press it down, so we have a bit of, it's like a mid-green colour there. Now it's worth trying to layer the foliage in a way that you have darker colours maybe at the base and some lighter colours at the top. So I'm going to go ahead and grab some of this lighter green. It's got a nice blend. This is one of my favourite foliage by Javis. So there. You might not be able to see it on camera, but there's little bits of strands of glue. So the tweezers, just grab that and break it off. Don't want any of this excess glue left on the piece. There we go. So I'm going to go ahead, do the whole piece, and then we'll move on to the poison ivy. So we'll speed this one up. Okay, so that looks fine for putting on the table now, but I'm going to go ahead and add some poison ivy as well. Now, have a little close up. There's not too much foliage on it. Again, just because miniatures are going to be placed on here, you don't want it getting in the way of the miniatures being placed. So that's just enough, just to bring out the piece a little bit more, make it a little bit more realistic. So we can move the glue gun out of the way now. Clear some of our work surface up, and we have the poison ivy by Army Painter. Now this is very fine material, and it looks like it's exactly like poison ivy really. It has little leaves on it, And all you need to do is just peel a little bit off and tease it apart, just so it's not all clumped together. So it's very small fibre. You can cut it with scissors to shape it a little bit more, but it should be fine. We're going to do it, get a few pieces. Now instead of using hot glue, you just use a clear drying PVA glue. Okay, preferably with a nice nozzle tip on it, so you can make good placements without having excess glue everywhere and whatnot. So let's look for some cracks in the piece, which we can get some ivy. We've got this window area here, so I'm going to put a nice blob of PVA there and just run it down the wall. Now put it into this bush. Okay, so if you can see here, put a bit of glue, and we can grab our poison ivy and just place it on there. Then with the tweezers we will just move it into position. Use this end. So you can see we have some poison ivy now going up the wall into the window area of the ruin. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and add some more. Don't want to go mad with this stuff. Over here in this corner might be quite good where we've got some rubble. And it's also good to hide up any bits of hot glue which are in between the foliage. Just use some of this poison ivy and just cover it up a little bit. So on top of that bit of foliage here, we now have some poison ivy going into that crack. Okay. Now when you do this, make sure you do actually have clear drying PVA, because you don't want some weird colour left underneath it. So I'm going to grab some more of this. It's a great product. I mean, if you wanted to go, if you're a scale modeler and it wasn't mainly for playing games with your miniatures on top of it, and you could go ahead combining the poison ivy here with some of the tremendous leaf litter. That's really effective. Looks really, really good. Oh, I'm going to go ahead and maybe add a little bit on the inside. So let's go ahead and put some here on this texture bit. Okay, so there we have it. That's finished. So we've got the foliage built up, we have poison ivy, ready for the gaming table. A nice range of green colours, bring out the piece even more. And when the pieces are together, it all ties in, it blends, it will look brilliant on your gaming board. So thanks for watching the tutorial, guys. I hope everyone's doing fantastic and hope to see you in the next video. Cheers, bye.